Hello and welcome to this feature interview. I'm Emily Carrier. My interview today is no stranger to EHCTV or the camera, and his recent success assures this summer will be no different. For the second year in a row, an Emory and Henry student has been awarded a prestigious national award in the form of a summer fellowship. Last year it was Olivia Bailey. This year it's Nathan Fischel. Nathan, thanks for joining me on the Allen Set.
You're welcome, Emily.
So tell me, Nathan, how did you apply for this process?
Yeah, so I learned about the IRTS fellowship. It was about 2 years ago with Olivia Bailey, I know who you mentioned earlier. And she was always a mentor to me when I first came into Emory. She ran cross country with me, and we were always very into mass communication stuff together. And so I helped her apply. Actually, I proofread her applications. The IRTS fellowship application process is pretty strenuous. Actually, my application was 6,000 words, so it's a lot of writing. And so when Olivia was applying, I always proofread her applications, and she was always very into practice interviews, so I practiced interviewed her a lot, and I sat in on a couple of her actual interviews. So I've always known about it, and when I was a freshman, I set the goal that when I got there, I wanted to make it to New York City, and so here I am.
And here you are. Well, Nathan, I know you listened to Olivia's phone conversations. You helped her edit. How was your interview process different?
My interview process was, in a sense, it was more different, I think just because it was me. And I felt pretty prepped for it. I never was too focused. Olivia always freaked out about it, and I never was too worried. I guess I was pretty confident in myself and just known what I've done to get to this point. And I don't really think it was too different because they have a pretty strict system in place.
Well, I read that you rose above thousands of other students to get this award. What do you think set you apart?
The biggest thing that probably set me apart has been my experience here at Emory and Henry and my internship at Channel 6 WTVR in Richmond. So at Emory, I've done pretty much everything you can do, I want to say, when it comes to mass communications, whether it's wired, the white topper, TV, obviously, since I'm sitting right here today, and the just being super well rounded. But then when I had the opportunity to go to WTVR and intern in the sales department and being able to say I've already sold a certain amount of money and put that on my application really set me apart. And also, most people don't want to go into sales at my age or go into advertising directly. And that is word for word what they said. They said, you're pretty unique about that. And I said, well, it's what I enjoy, and helped me get there.
So sales is not as popular of a field as broadcasting, radio, TV. So I want to back up a little bit. Tell me about your reaction when you found out I've been awarded this fellowship for this summer.
Yeah, so I was in Baltimore actually for the Jim Doyle Training Conference, which is through WTVR. They asked me to go to Baltimore with them for about 4 days for their kind of intro level training course through their sales consultant. So I was in Baltimore eating lunch, and I got a phone call, and I missed it originally because I was talking to Jim Doyle, who is the face of these consultants, and he travels around the country and works with almost thousands of different media markets. And I sat there and didn't pick up because I was talking to him, and then I realized that it was New York, and I was like, ugh. And they called me a day early too. I was expecting to call on Friday, so I stepped out and called her back, and she was like, well, you're going to New York. But I'd already been tipped off. Olivia wasn't supposed to tell me, but she got called 2 days earlier, and she said, hey, it looks like you're going to New York City. So I was pretty excited. I didn't really know what to say. Just said thank you, really. I was kind of at a loss for words, and then went back and carried out the rest of my sales training.
So a big weekend for you there in
Yeah,
Baltimore.
it was a very, very, very big weekend. It was like a great time.
So you know now you're going to get to spend the whole summer in New York. We were talking before the show. You know who you're going to be with as well. Tell me all about that.
So I'm going to be working for the Cats Media Group, and Leo McCourtney is actually on their board. And I actually asked to be placed there because our national sales manager at WTVR started his career at Cats, and I knew he was on the board. So I tried to milk kind of my networking and get him to send some notes. So he's actually sent a couple emails and made a phone call for me to Leo McCourtney, sits on the board at IRTS, and I asked to go under him. And what Cats is Cats Media Group, is it's a rep firm. So local television stations have a national sales manager usually, and then they work to get larger companies who are represented in big markets such as New York City or Los Angeles, and they represent those little companies in getting big advertisers to come work for them. And so hopefully I'm going to be doing something to the extent of working with an individual at Cats who works with hundreds of local television stations and hopefully meet some pretty cool people.
And getting to further that sales experience.
Yeah. I don't have too much experience because Cat deals a lot more with ratings, which is really, really complicated, and I'm more local experienced, but I have a little bit of a background knowledge, so I'm going to really have to push myself to learn some new things and get good at understanding the math behind who watches commercials.
Well, I cannot wait to see your resume after this summer. It's already very
Well,
lengthy.
I guess so.
Well, Nathan, do you have any advice for students wanting to apply for this IRTS fellowship kind of on the back end of this now? You've received this award. 2 Emory and Henry students have now. That's huge. Actually 3.
Yes,
Now,
Sonny
you
Blevins
make
as
the
well.
3rd. So say there's a student out there that wants to become number 4. Do you have any advice for him or her?
Well, this is going to sound terrible, but start small. Start getting involved on campus the second you get here and make yourself a wide range of skills, and then try to go. What I did was through the Virginia Association of Broadcasters, which is very possible because Dr. Keller worked on the board for a long time, and she's got a lot of pull, whether or not people realize it. And just get involved on campus, and then from there, shoot to do something in a local market, and then shoot for the stars. But if you shoot from the stars, it's a pretty big application to try for and maybe not get because you don't have the experience yet.
So big application in the Big Apple, Nathan Fischel, this summer.
Yep.
All right, well, we'll be looking for you in the big time.
Yep. Thanks, Emily.
All right, well, thank you for watching. This has been your EHCTV feature interview with Nathan Fischel. I'm Emily Carrier.